Street Genius, Part 20. What determines your success? What determines your success isn't what do you want to enjoy. The relevant question is what pain do you want to sustain? The path to happiness is the path full of shit heaps and shame. You have to choose something. You can't have a pain free life. It can't all be the roses and unicorns all the time. Player is the easy question, and pretty much of all of us have a similar answer. The more interesting question is the pain. What is the pain that you want to sustain? That's the hand question. That's the hot question. That's the hard question and matters. The question that will actually get you somewhere. It's the question that can change the perspective of life. It's what makes me, and you. It's what makes me, and you. It's what defines us and separates us, and ultimately brings us together. For most of my adolescence and youth adulthood, I fantasized about being a musician, a rock star, a rock star in particular. A bandas guitar song I heard, I would always close my eyes and envision myself on stage, playing it to the playing it to the screams of the crowd. People absolutely losing their minds to my sweet fingers, noodling glory. This fantasy could keep me occupied for hours on end. For me, it was never a question of if I would ever be up playing in front of screaming crowds, but when I had it all planned out, I was simply bidding my time before I could invest the proper amount of energy and effort into getting out there and making my mark. First, I needed to finish school, then, I needed to make some extra money to buy a gear, then, I needed to find enough free time to practice, then, I had to network and plan my first project, then, and then, and then nothing. Despite my fantasizing about this for over half of my lifetime, the reality never came to a fruition, and it took me a long time and a lot of struggle to finally figure out why I didn't actually want it. I was in love with the result, the image of me on stage, people cheering me, rocking out, pouring my heart into what I was playing, but I wasn't in love with the process, and because of that, I failed at it repeatedly. Hell, I didn't even try hard enough to fail at it. I hardly tried at all. The daily drudgery of practicing and the logistics of finding a group and rehearsing, the pain of finding gigs and actually getting people to show up and give a shit, the broken strings, the blown tube amp, hauling 40 pounds of gear to and from rehearsals with no car. It's a mountain of dream and a mile high climb to the top. And what it took me a long time to discover that I didn't like to climb much. I just like to imagine the summit. The common cultural narratives would tell me that I somehow failed myself, that I'm a quitter or a loser, that I just didn't have it, that I gave up on my dream, and that maybe I let my succumb to the pressures of society. But the truth is far less interesting than any of these explanations. The truth is that I thought I wanted something, but it turns out I didn't. End of story. I wanted the reward and not the struggle. I wanted the result and not the process. I was in love with not the I was in love with not the fight, but only the victory. And life doesn't work that way. Who you are is defined by what you're willing to struggle for. People who enjoy the struggles of a gym are the ones who run triathlon and have a chiseled abs and can bench press a small house. People who enjoy a long work week and politics of the corporate ladder are the ones who fly to the top of it. People who enjoy the stresses and uncertainties of starving artist lifestyle are ultimately the ones who live it and make it. This is not about willpower of grit. This is not another admonishment of no pain, no gain. This is the most simple and basic component of life. Our struggles determine our successes, our problems, birth or happiness, along with the slightly better, slightly upgraded problems. See, it's a never ending upward spiral. And if you think at any point you're allowed to stop climbing, I'm afraid you're missing the point because the joy is in the climb itself.